It's about to go down.
It's lovely pass, and there he turns cleverly. Can he find a finish? Oh, he can!
Skill by Joshua, and a return right hand. Good counter right. Bullen is hurt. Second right hand. That clipped him as well. Now he goes in for the kill.
Well, Ricciardo is inching into the lead, and Ricciardo will win the Italian Grand Prix!
Gonzalo running the floor.
Still leading the way with Cameroon in there too with the Netherlands.
And Musa makes it 4 goals in 2 World Cup matches.
The Monaco Grand Prix! Ricciardo triumphant in Monza.
Through Bowden, Barrett, and an early touch and an excellent.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Hello and welcome to yet another wonderful episode of Sports Orbit, reaching you from the Leadership Podcast studio. As we all know, the AFCON is upon us and is exactly now 3 days away to the AFCON. Of course, my name is Afa Achu, your host for today, and I'm here with Salifo Usman. We'll be giving you the rundown of what's going to transpire. You know, the Eagles are already in Garoua in Cameroon, and of course, other stories we have in store for you as we spend the next 30 minutes with you, Salifo. Welcome to another episode of Sports Orbit.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be back on the training.
All right, as expected, the Super Eagles of Nigeria actually left the Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport, Abuja, last night, 8 p.m. to be precise, and of course, took the short flight to Garoua in Cameroon. That flight was roughly about an hour flight, and of course, as we speak now, the Super Eagles are safely in Garoua in Cameroon. And of course, they arrived there to the embrace of an advance party who were already on ground to welcome the Eagles. Let's take a look at the arrival of the Super Eagles as they touch down in Garoua, Cameroon.
Yeah. That place will not take the players? All the players here? No, what I'm asking, sir. Yeah. That place will not take the players? Yeah.
I'm excited, you know. I'm excited. Thank you.
All right, so that's the arrival of the Super Eagles as they touch down in Garoua in Cameroon. They arrived with 25 players, and of course, 2 more expected. 3 were being expected, but as it is now, except a replacement happens, 2 players are expected in Cameroon. Salifu, so the Super Eagles have finally touched down to begin their quest for a 4th continental AFCON title in Cameroon.
Well, first and foremost, we thank God for the safe landing of the Eagles, and it's good that they are fully on ground in Cameroon. Garoua precisely just about 5 days to their opening match against the 7-time champion Egypt. So, and from the background of the picture of what the video you are seeing, I see that even the Nigerian communities in Garoua are fully on ground with their banner welcoming the teams. So it means that from the look of the team and from what we have shown that Eagles are not going to lack any support because already there are a lot of Nigerians already in the city of Garoua in far north Cameroon. So definitely who are into the arms of Nigerians who are going to give them a full support. The Nigerians are not going to lack any support. Yeah. And just like rightly mentioned, 2 players are being expected, the person of Tron Ebushis and Jamil Collins. and the 10 players who is also would have also expected, of course, but a little bit doubting is the Saudi based Ojo Igalo, the last time top scorer at the AFCON. So, and just like we said yesterday, based on the circumstances the Super Eagles have found themselves, Igalo not making the team is another a big upset, a big minor for the Super Eagles, because his experience, even in as much as before now, a lot of people were doubting, were not happy about his inclusion in the squad. But from what I've happened with him, with the drop out of the missing out of the Dennis and Osimhen and a lot of stuff, definitely you now see that an experienced player like Igalo should be an advantage if he's in the squad to the team. But unfortunately, his Saudi side refused to release him, saying that they needed him, but they were not too sure that when the NFL first invited him. Remember, Joe Gallo announced his retirement from the national team in 2019.
That's where I was going to.
So he retired from the 2019, and at the time the Saudi club buy him, they see him. Because in the contract that they already see that he's no longer playing, he's no longer have in international team, he's no longer playing for international team. So they see that okay, he's a player that is already available for the club, not have to play between the contracts and the club. But unfortunately, Garoua have the former Super Eagles coach and some of his colleagues in the NFL have a different view. And when they force Gallo to force him out of retirement to come, and according to the Saudi club, saying that at the time they invited him, they told him that he's not going, not that he's going to go play for the World Cup qualifier, not going to invite him for a full tournament. And that is what the Saudi Arabians are holding on that for not releasing him. But what these are the CD that will encourage us in the Baba, and I believe us in the Baba is an experienced coach. He's not new to this kind of situation. He was a player. He was a former Super Eagles coach. He went to the Super Africa Cup of Nations in 2006. In 2006, he was with the team in Egypt when he finished as the second runners up. So he's not new to the situation. Definitely, you know how to navigate the situation, either with the Gallo or not with the Gallo. And good, you know, if you observe Bibele from the way he first lead the squad, with the that why having 10 strikers in a team?
Yeah.
Now, and from the look of it, it's like as if he has an advantage, this kind of thing going to happen. Now, out of that, 2 level strikers are out of the squad, but they still have enough striker to select from. So definitely with the presence of, I think we have to still have a deadly striker with the presence of Sadiq Umar. I believe Sadiq Umar and Taiwo Agbouni should be live up to the expectation and to take the challenge that are fall on them.
But don't you think, as much as yes, we will make a case for Umar and Taiwo Agbouni, but some are quick to say that you look at these players experience-wise, this is their first major tournament, and so a lot of people might not expect them to perform at that level in which, for instance, an Igalo or I would have performed. But I mean, this is a situation we found ourselves.
Well, African Cup of Nations is not a minor tournament. It's one of the biggest tournament. But I don't think a player who are playing at the top level in Europe, playing Europa qualifiers and playing. So I don't think they will have any challenge or to face any stage fright when they play in Africa. Because they are playing at the bigger stadium, at any stadium, even with 80 capacity, with full to the capacity. So they have faced a lot of big matches that I can't also say a big match that is not an African Cup of Nations, but let me say they have played a very tough match. When competitive game of high level, high standard, where you can even say you can be even measure or not even more than African Cup of Nations. I don't think the person of Awoni Sadiq Umar was at the 2022 Olympic. So I don't know, Olympic football is also a big tournament. So who play at the Olympic? So definitely, I don't think they have anything to be afraid of. There's something like a stage fright, and I strongly believe that people are saying that okay, they will not have experience is not buying from a womb. You need to play to go and get experience. Nobody comes to this world with experience. It is well after you play that you understand. Okay, now this is their first Africa Cup of Nations. Going on, they not have one experience. So nobody comes to this world with experience. You learn, you play here to get experience, and it's an opportunity for that. And we can't keep on relying on old players. Definitely, most of the players in the team will have to phase out. For instance, those that won the African Cup of Nations at the 2013, the squad that won the African Cup of Nations at 2013, all of them are still alive.
Yeah.
But apart from all, but the parents Super Eagles squad, only three. Is it only three? Only two. I mean, Musa Kenemero that are part of this team. The third person, which is Joseph Yobo, is there as a coach.
Yeah.
So definitely, you need to a new faces need to come to the team. So talking about say Sadiq Omar and Sadiq Omar, Awoni or Oyekurus and the rest who don't have experience. Experience is not buy from anywhere. It's not buy. You are not born with experience. You need to learn it here. And I think that they are not even being known. It's even a joker for Nigeria. So their opponents will be why we are hoping that okay, and now they're not going to be the why the opponent will be hoping. Thank God we are not going to see Osimhen. Thank God we are not going to see Dennis. Thank God we are not going to see Idalo. But those guys will go in as a joker and surprise it. Because I strongly believe that Sadiq Omar will not disappoint. And to me, I'm putting my money on Sadiq Omar particular.
All right, still on the Super Eagles. Well, of course, ahead of the AFCON, as it's usually the tradition when players go for this kind of tournaments, squad numbers are located. And of course, the Super Eagles have revealed, the squad numbers of which players will be wearing. Of course, goalkeeper Maduka Okoye has the number 1 jersey. Francis also has number 23. Daniel Akwe, number 16. Of course, third goalkeeper John Noble with the number 27 jersey. And of course, Ahmed Musa is number 7. Then Joe Aribo has been handed the number 10 shirt. And I mean, everybody knows what the number 10 shirt symbolizes in the game of football. I mean, I don't envy him at this point in time. The number 10 is usually the playmaker, the orchestrator when it comes to football in the midfield. And Joe Aribo has that number. Of course, Igalo was given the number 9 shirt, but with his absence, I really don't know how that situation will be resolved. Of course, Onyekuru, number 11. Then, of course, Awoni, number 19, and the rest of them. But looking at Aribo having the number 10 shirt, sorry, do you think he's the right person looking at this squad now who should be wearing this number 10 shirt?
What? Number 10 shirt, me. The last year of that number 10 was Luke.
Yeah.
The official last year in any national team. Just like you say, we know number 10 shirt is
football, generally
football is for the playmaker.
Yeah.
Sometimes you may even be a striker, but a top team
and a very important player,
very key players of the sport. So if you have anything, the moment they say number 10 shirt, it's like you command a lot of person.
Exactly.
You command the moving team. You lead it. You are there to lead the team. So, but Joe Aribo, since he came to the squad, has proved his mentor. But although of recent his performance has not been too as when he started, when he first went to the team. Remember, he first debut was against Brazil, and when he signed like a million star. But unfortunately, looking at the last World Cup qualifier, his performance was not to what it used to be compared. But
looking at his performances for Rangers.
But if you watch him at the club level recently, he has improved great level, and I hope that what the new form he has at the club, he will be able to carry into the Africa Cup. And it's also know that the church is carrying. And looking at the beginning of those shirts, who have won those shirts.
JJ has won that shirt before. Likes of them.
So you should know that definitely that is not that it should be it's a lot of pressure and a lot of burden on him.
All right, I mean deservedly.
But if you ever ask me to me, although Kelechi Nwakali is just coming to the team.
Yeah, actually, I thought about it too. Yeah, exactly.
Me, if you have to give me a cigar to soon, I would say that number 10 years to have given to Kelechi Nwakali.
I think there has been too much of pressure on him at this point because this is first time he's really coming into the senior team properly. So I think that would have been too much of a wait for him. So I've said,
although he's coming to the national ball, Kelechi Nwakali watching from the youth team is a leader. He's a leader, and when he led to the Chile 2015 when they won that cup, you see now seeing a leader is like Gabon, he won the leader, and he was commanding the top of respect. But I don't think that
giving him that ahead of Aribo Don't forget that Wakali, even in Spain, is playing in the second division. So giving him that jersey ahead of an Aribo for instance. Some people have even argued, made a case for what's his name? The Everton guy, Alex Iwobi, have made a case for him, but well, that's still debatable. But I think in the absence of any other players in that midfield, I think Joe Aribo deserves
he
it.
deserves it. He merits the most especially since he came that he has won that he will normally won after they used to be little. So taking it from him will not be justified. And it's good that he's still putting that check down.
All right, at this point, we'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we still have a lot of stories for you. Of course, the NFF once again is in the news. We'll find out why the NFF are in the news when we come back from this break.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Welcome back from that short break. You're right back to Sports Orbit from the Leadership Podcast Studio. Before I went on that break, of course, there's this news coming in. We are hearing the NFF have actually requested the sum of 15 billion naira from the federal government, and the reason being that they want to prosecute the AFCON and also the World Cup. Don't forget that Nigeria is yet to qualify for the World Cup properly. What the NFF said, what they'll need to successfully prosecute the AFCON in Cameroon, and of course the World Cup in Qatar, is 15 billion naira. Salifu. Don't forget that in 2019 AFCON, the sum of 1 billion naira was actually released to the NFF for the AFCON in 2019, and this time around, they said for both tournaments they will need the sum of 15 billion naira. So that's saying maybe 7.5, 7.5, or I don't know how they want to split it, but NFF are saying they need 15 billion naira. Salifu, is this amount justifiable? Is it too much? Is it too small to prosecute these two major tournaments?
Well, my brother, in Nigeria, the more you look, the less you understand. And for NFF to ask for 15 billion, this is a huge lot of money.
Yeah.
For just for African Cup of Nations, for a country that the economic is dwindling, but for a government that faces a lot of challenges, have security challenges, for the economic is melted down, a lot of things, a lot of issues are present for 15 billion to go and play African Cup of Nations. And I don't think, well, maybe they need to come out in the clear time and explain to Nigerians how this 15 billion will be spent. If it is not just to make a certain people rich. Because I can't see how you are
are they buying new jerseys? Are they buying kits or what? Because they are kitted already.
I don't. Yes, they are kitted. They are kitted. The sponsorship kitted. And you're not buying. You're not buying any kit.
So what do you need money for? Is it for hotel? Is it for feed? Is it for allowances?
It's wrong, unfortunately. And by even your standard, can't take responsibility of the team.
Exactly.
Once we qualify, once we get to we hand over the team to CAF. CAF take care of the host of the hotel and the players. The accommodation is being taken care of by the CAF, except the officials and all the other people are not part of the squad. Exactly. But those who are part of the squad are taken care of by CAF. But it's quite, for instance, Super Eagles, I guess they take a flight from Nigeria to just 1 hour to. How much that 1 hour from Nigeria to Garoua cost?
I wasn't a private jet, it was a commercial airline. which I wouldn't want to
Good
mention their
nature.
name, but
So
yeah.
now, for now, you are stating that 50 billion for Africa population, and most importantly, the last 2 years ago, government give one, we spend only 1 billion. We could the same match.
Was the money, even when they came back, was they proper
accounted
of that money of how
okay,
it
for
was
instance,
spent?
from here to Egypt, economic in terms of economic, the distance from here to Egypt is more. You can say if you are spending, if to which you spend 1 billion, the total match in Egypt 2 years ago,
You should spend less.
you should spend less. Or okay, for this time, you can also make a case that okay, for the fact that Nigeria has depreciated. So the value of naira at then at that time at 2 years ago, naira was exchanging for $236. But now it's about officially 49 for $400 something dollars. So if you do naira has depreciated, but maybe you can say okay, you can manage 2 billion. You can ask for 2 billion, not to now ask for almost how they call it. That is 700%. Because if you are saying for Africa Cup of Nations, I mean, just like you split it by 2, you are also asking for money for a World Cup.
You are yet to qualify for. So even for the AFCON, like I was talking with someone this morning when I heard the story. If at the end of the first round you don't make it to the next round, so what happens?
Well, I don't. It's not like I said, we are criticizing or anything. For instance, in 2018. In 2022 World Cup, I don't know people. The Super Eagles project, the NFL project, take care of from March day 1 to the final match. When you know that you are going to World Cup, you cannot even get to the second round. But we came back, we dropped in the second round. But what happened? No explanation. Now we are. But I trust. I don't think the federal government will be magnanimous to release this kind of money for the Africa.
I doubt it too. All right, away from that into athletics, where Oboro Dudu, Aaron Okodri, and others have finally gotten an $82,000 Olympic grant. Of course, the 2 medalists were among the array of Nigerian sports listed as beneficiaries by the International Olympic Committee to get this grant. So before I think this is a good one coming from the IOC, and usually these grants are made, of course, to support these athletes, especially in their training tours and all of that, in kitting themselves. So I think this should be a big boost to their career.
Yeah, it's a big boost in there. At the same time, that to keep them in the perfect direction to planning to preparing for the Commonwealth game. And it's good that yes, they are benefiting. It's good that they are getting this money. Not people just getting it early. Because Commonwealth game is 7 months ahead. Commonwealth is going to be held in July in Birmingham. So if they get this money early, it will give them enough opportunity and to program this and plan, attend a lot of tournament, championship. So it's good. So congratulations to those who commend the IOC, commend and the Nigerian Olympic Committee. But those things being done in collaboration with the National Olympic Committee.
Of course, other beneficiaries include, of course, Omotayo Olajide, Toby Amuson, Favor Ofili, Nathaniel Ogene-Weber, Nathaniel Glory, Adekroyo Odunayo. Of course, I think she deserves it also. Adeni Minat Adamu, the wrestler, also, yes. Otudima Uzomoka, Mwosu Chinazun Taekwondo, and weightlifter Adesomi Olua Tosin. And away from that, and straight to transfer news, where former Arsenal midfielder Aaron Ramsey, who has spent the last 3-4 seasons at Juventus, is set to leave Juventus finally after spending some good years there, winning a couple of very important trophies. And of course, he was recently linked with the return back to former club Arsenal, Everton, and Newcastle, while reports said that he had a formal approach turned from Burnley, actually turned down. Ramsey is currently 31 years. So amazing that his name has been on the radar for a long time, and he's just 31 years old. I mean, it's like Ramsey has been there like forever, but seeing his age, I was even shocked that he's just still 31. I think he still has some good years of football.
People see him, but for me, I want to say that the age has his own.
Exactly.
It's Arsenal homegrown.
Yeah, sure.
So we have as Liverpool boys as we mentor them to go from the youth team and definitely. But just like you say, You know, even his edging from Arsenal was a bit disappointed for a lot of people because he felt that he still have time to stay with Arsenal. To stay with Arsenal, he went to the Juventus, but just like what we have seen that. Well, in the last during the current season, he has only played just 5 matches, and so he's struggling to get the starting shape. And for him, well, he's still the age is still on the side. At least he can still play for another 4 years. So definitely he has to go and look for where he can be welcome and have an opportunity.
Looking at England the way it is, you shouldn't have a problem finding a club. I mean, so many middle table teams will be interested in having his services.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I don't see him going back to Arsenal. Not
very
realistic.
unlikely.
Not realistic. But club like Everton, Newcastle, other middle clubs, just like the United States, we'd like to welcome as a Ramsey.
All right, away from the Emirates to Old Trafford, where Man United boss has been assured that the board is ready to make funds available for him if he really needs to add some, firepower to his squad. At this point, looking at what United have, of course, there are rumors of a couple of players who have spent a couple of years in United, who United may want to offload. Players like Mata, Cavani. There are talks about Cavani even wanting to leave, but the coach has said he would like him to stay till the end of the season. But a couple of United players like Jesse Lingard, a lot of them are trying to push for the exit door. And of course, the board has come out to say, well, if the new interim manager is ready to go to the market, there are the funds to back him. Do you think United needs some additions, especially in the midfield area?
Well, it depends on the club. It depends on the coach. So sometimes we may feel that okay, the club have all the required to play.
Yeah.
But based on the new coach and his pattern, he wanted to play. You feel that okay, some players are not needed in this team. And just like you rightly said, there are a lot of players who in Manchester United who have overstayed their welcome. So I can't even if that like just for the matter you mention, I can't even remember the matter is still in mind. But it's still depending on the definitely there's some club, there's some players that need to make way for the new one to come in, and all depend on the new coach, depending on the way he wanted to play. So and thank God the club has backed him. The club has backed him that if that means it's not up to you. If you feel you need addition or you need subtraction, it's left to just decide and we'll be back with the phone. So
of course, among the potential players, of course, Amadou Haidara of Mali. Of course, yesterday there are also reports of United trying to make a soup for Ruben Neves of Wolves. He was actually a thorn in their flesh the last time they met out. Solid midfielder. United have eyed him for a couple of seasons now, but are yet to, make an official bid for his signature. Well, away from that, and of course, the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg was played last night at Stamford Bridge, where, of course, Antonio Conte made a return back to the club where he was once a champion with the Blues, but his return was not as he expected because, yeah, exactly. The new man in charge of the Blues had other plans. He didn't give him a warm welcome at all, and of course, Tottenham fell 2-0 to Chelsea right there at Stamford Bridge. Of course, already with this result now, Chelsea are already one leg into the final of the Carabao Cup. Not forgetting that they still have to play the second leg at the Tottenham Stadium. But do you see Tottenham overturning the scoreline in the second leg?
Well, it's a difficult task. It will be a very tough one. But I don't know what informed the decision of the Eagles to play two leg for a league cup. It depends on the but I don't think it's supposed to be so. More importantly, when the club when a lot of people have been jump out with a lot of match fixing, a lot of fixtures. Why should they play just a league cup for two legs, home and away? Maybe I do what you used to do is to take the semi-final to the neutral ground, play one leg and let the winner money. And that's what now they're expecting to after from the play, they now go back to Tottenham and play another leg. What? It depends, but just like you say, that Tottenham feel that you know the terrain within the West, within the Tavern Bridge very well, and you'll be able to get what you want. But unfortunately, the new managers are saying you're not a stranger. So I know better with I know what it means. What knows better within the Tavern Bridge than you. was come back by 2-0, but it's now left for Kobe to Tottenham. Well, me too, I'm also grounded at Tottenham and that's White Lane. So let's say I'm going to be where they move to White Lane. And but to turn this 2-0, it's not impossible, but to them it's going to be a very tough one.
Not forgetting that the other semi-final leg which should have been played tonight has been postponed due to an outbreak of COVID in the Liverpool versus Arsenal. Of course, as of yesterday, yes, even the assistant coach of Liverpool also contacted COVID, so he's out of that one. And of course, the camp has even been shut down completely. So the FA initially were reluctant in moving that game, but they had to just postpone the game because Liverpool had to cry out that look, their side is completed. Our coach is not, who will not be with us. Even the assistant who would have taken charge of that match is down with COVID. So the match should be postponed. So that match will not be holding tonight again as expected. A later date for that match will be announced later. Anyway, at this point, this is where we slam the brakes on today's episode of Sports Orbit. Salifu, once again, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Superior.
All right, until come your way tomorrow again for another exciting episode of Sports Orbit. Don't forget that the Nations Cup is coming up. Tomorrow will be just 2 days away to the Nations Cup, and we're right here to give you all of the updates you need. Team in focus, the players in camp, and preparations for as countries try to vie for the title. Until we see you tomorrow for another exciting episode. My name is Afa Achu, your host, and stay safe out there, and it's bye-bye from here.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.